Google just embedded Gemini directly into Google Maps, and the implications run much deeper than a typical feature update. This isn't a chatbot stapled onto a map. It's a fundamental shift in how humans interact with geographic information, and it could quietly become one of the most used AI interfaces on the planet. Traditional map search forces you to think like a database. You type coffee shop near Central Park and get a ranked list. But that's not how humans actually think. We say things like, find me somewhere quiet, good Wi-Fi, not too crowded on a Tuesday morning. Ask Maps understands that full sentence, the nuance, the context, the implicit priorities, and responds accordingly. That gap between how we think and how we had to type was always there. We just accepted it. Google Maps has been quietly accumulating one of the most valuable data sets in human history. Billions of user reviews, real-time traffic patterns, business hours updated live, photos, local trend signals, and foot traffic data. The raw intelligence was always sitting there. The bottleneck was never the data. It was the interface. Gemini is essentially a translation layer between human intent and that massive structured knowledge base. And that translation is what turns a reference tool into an actual assistant. One of the most persistent criticisms of large language models is that they hallucinate geography with complete confidence. Ask a general-purpose LLM to recommend a restaurant in an unfamiliar city, and it might give you somewhere that closed in 2021, complete with a fake phone number. The grounding technique used here changes that equation. Gemini isn't imagining answers from training data. It's reasoning over live, verified, constantly updated maps information. The model becomes a reasoner on top of ground truth, not a guesser filling in blanks. From a machine learning engineering perspective, this architecture represents a maturation of how AI gets deployed in real products. Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, has been talked about for years, but most implementations are clunky. What makes this different is the quality of both components simultaneously. Google Maps has world-class retrieval infrastructure built over 2 decades. Gemini brings world-class reasoning. When those two strengths combine on a problem people solve dozens of times a week, you get something that actually works in daily life, not just in demos. There's a concept in product design called hidden friction, the small frustrations users tolerate because they have no alternative and therefore stop consciously registering them. Typing precise search syntax into a map to find somewhere to eat or work or explore was always hidden friction. People learned to phrase things in ways the system could parse, not in ways that felt natural. Nobody complained loudly because what would you even say? Now that a better interface exists, the old one will feel immediately broken. That's the hallmark of a genuinely useful product shift. The true stress test for any local discovery AI isn't finding a single coffee shop. It's planning a coherent day in an unfamiliar city. Getting from a morning meeting in one neighborhood to a lunch recommendation nearby, then to an afternoon errand, then to dinner, all while accounting for travel time, neighborhood character, and personal preferences. That chain of connected, context-aware decisions is exactly where traditional map search collapses into manual effort. Conversational Maps has the architecture to handle that chain. Whether it does it well in practice is what the next few weeks of real user testing will reveal. Most AI product launches get attention but low daily engagement. What makes Maps different is the use case frequency. Navigation and local discovery aren't occasional tasks. They happen dozens of times a week for most people. When AI embeds itself into something that's habitual, adoption doesn't require behavior change. It just requires the experience to be better. Google Maps already lives on over 1 billion devices. Gemini didn't need to find a new audience. It found the most powerful distribution channel imaginable. That quiet combination of deep data, strong reasoning, and massive existing habit is why this one feels like it actually lands.